Hello, and welcome to another episode of Hi, I'm Jason with Jason Pollock. I am not Jason. Join Jason and Justin back in the green room as they talk with some of their favorite folks from the entertainment industry. And now, the man you haven't been waiting for, Jason Pollock.
Hi, I'm Jason. Justin, thanks for bringing me out so beautifully. You were wonderful. That was so elegant.
Thank you. I try.
You know, I went into an elevator earlier, and the elevator operator said, how high, son? What floor? I fucked up the joke. He said, what floor are you going to, son? I said, you're not my father. He said, I brought you up, didn't I?
There it is.
Really
there it
screwed
is.
that up.
Where's my drum set?
That's why I'm not a dad. I can't tell dad jokes.
But you're a comic, so I thought that at least you'd be able to tell a joke.
I should be able to tell a joke, yeah. And I'm Jewish. We invented comedy.
That's very true.
But
I don't know. With the way you delivered that, you might be Jewish.
Listen. That was I got to redeem myself, but we'll do that later. I got to tell you, I'm really excited about our guest that we're bringing out later.
Absolutely. I am so excited to have her on. We were chatting with her a little bit before the show, and she said one of the things she said is, "Hey, don't expect too much comedy from me." But she had us rolling the whole time. I mean, how funny?
It's because she's Jewish, and we invented comedy. We know.
Well, there you go. Well, before we bring her out, I'm going to do some of our housekeeping. What do you say, Jason?
Go for it, Justin.
Okay, let's do it. Hello, friends. Welcome to Hi, I'm Jason with Jason Pollock. I am not Jason. I'm Justin, and we are here to enjoy some time together, and I hope that you will do us an enormous favor. If you want to know what we're doing, please do us the huge favor of following us on our social media pages. If you want to see some of our finished products, our finished shows with some of our wonderful guests, pop on over to our YouTube page, youtube.com/user/superjpose711. If you want a little bit of an easier way, go to youtube.com and just search, Hi, I'm Jason. You can also, please, if you're watching on Twitch, be sure to follow our page on Twitch, twitch.tv/HIJ podcast. Not only do we do our weekly show there, the Hi, I'm Jason podcast, on Saturdays, you will see us do our Saturday Shorts show. Some folks have coined it the morning Wood Show. But that's on Saturday mornings. But again, if you're not following on Twitch, you're not going to catch that show. We only broadcast that on Twitch. Also, sometimes Jason and our insomnia syncs up, and we will do a last-minute show. And again, they are only on Twitch. So only if you are a Twitch follower will you be able to see that content. Now, if we are doing a special show or a late night fiasco, you have to be sure to be following us on Facebook, facebook.com/Jason and Justin. That way you will get all of the information that we disseminate. That's where it happens, my friends. So do it, facebook.com/Jason and Justin. If you enjoy our show and what it is we do, the shenanigans that we get into, do us a favor. Pop on over to our digital tip jar. You can do that by going to Venmo and just searching @Jason-Pollock-2. And again, anything that you donate to our digital tip jar goes to making sure that our show is even better and better for you. It helps us with our production. It helps Jason.
Paying our guests, how much happier they'd be.
Oh, absolutely, yeah. that would be swell. Maybe they'll actually come back. But also again, those visits to the digital tip jar help make sure Jason's Wi-Fi stays on. So please do pop on over to the digital tip jar and just say hello. Lastly, we want to say a big thank you to our channel, Drinks, Jokes, and Storytelling. Again, not just the podcast, but that's hosted by Mark Riccadonna and Richie Byrne, but the channel that they created just in the new year. We have 6 days of content. You know what? Let me not tell you about it. Watch this. And there you have it. It is 6 days of content, all different styles of comedy from different comedians and writers. It is all sorts of topics. Be sure to follow Drinks, Jokes, and Storytelling on Twitch today. That way, you can see with the shenanigans that we're up to. And again, there is something for everyone. So be sure to check out Drinks, Jokes, and Storytelling. And Jason, that is all that I have.
Well, let's just get right to it. Before she eats all the sushi in the green room, let's bring her out. You might know her from Sgt. Pepper's Lonely Hearts Club Band, the movie, as the one and only Lucy.
Ow!
Please welcome Dianne Steinberg.
Here she comes.
Oh my God! Wait a minute. I see.
Okay, here I am. Hello, everybody.
You still, I can't tell the difference in that picture.
You can. Oh,
okay,
forget that girl. Okay, here we go.
That was wonderful.
Wait a minute. Your dad said, I brought you into this world, but he didn't add, and I can take you out of here in 2 minutes. So anyway.
I screwed up a joke. I cocked that up a bit.
Okay.
He made sure to polish his shoes with kiwi that way in case it went into his mouth like it did earlier. At least it would taste good, right?
I think the joke was supposed to be I was in an elevator earlier, and when I got off, the guy said, "This is your floor, son." I said, "You're not my father." He said, "I brought you up, didn't I?" Get it?
There it
is.
is.
The elevator. There.
There it is.
Now I got it. Okay. I was a little slow on that. Hi, guys. Hi, Jason. Hi, Justin. How are you?
Hi, Diane. I feel like I've known you forever.
Of course you have.
I've known you since the 70s.
Yeah.
And you don't look much different.
Yeah. Oh, I'm just feeling good about that. But anyway, we'll talk about all that later. That's what's going to make the show very interesting, how different I am now.
I did get to see her. Don't worry, I'm not hitting on you. I'm just being complimentary. I saw your husband. He's a big man.
Okay. Yeah, okay. Yeah, he's a big man. Then yes. How tall are you?
I'm 5'6".
Yeah, that wasn't funny. Oh my God.
I'm 5'6". I'm not very tall, but what's lacked in height, as Justin knows, is made up for in other parts of the. Oh, hey.
Hello,
my.
Dolly. Okay.
It's begun. We didn't even get to the stories yet.
Not
Okay.
at all. My goodness.
So where should we start? Okay.
So,
You're the questioner.
would you like to ask the first question, or do you want me to, Jason?
You know what? You did such a good job, and your voice is so smooth.
Oh,
why, for it,
thank
Justin.
you. Actually, hang on. We'll make it even more sultry.
Oh.
Why, hello.
Oh, dang.
How are you doing?
Oh, that's very nice.
So Diane, I have
Yes.
a question for you.
Yes, darling.
So music and entertainment has been important in your life for a very long time.
Yes.
Okay, I've got to turn this off.
Yeah, turn it off because I'm about to kill him.
Thank you.
I'm about to go get rid of that guy.
So music and entertainment has been something that has been truly a part of your life, for so long. What was that moment when you realized that performing was going to be something special in your life?
Well, I was required to take piano lessons, and I started at 5 years old. But I shouldn't say required because I wanted to. My dad saw me playing some things that our babysitters had taught us up the street. I'm from Memphis, Tennessee originally. So,
wow.
So when you're around stacks and different churches and things, and you hear all this music that's so very Beale Street and Memphis, it's like, even though I had a classical training, it all just kind of comes into you, that you all of a sudden, even though if you can't play certain things, when it's good or not because you know the authentic thing. So, when I was I thought I was just playing this little pentatonic thing on the piano. My dad went, "Oh, she's playing the piano," and he's a trumpet player. Everybody, all the Steinberg boys were musicians. And my aunt Nan had gone out with some jazz trumpet players. She was the first one to go out, and then my dad saw her do that. And I mean, there were my grandmother Ida had 5 kids before she got with my grandfather Milton Steinberg, and then she had 10 more kids, so she had 15 kids.
Oh my
And
gosh.
yeah, and so some of them moved to Michigan, but the rest of them who stayed in Memphis were involved in music. My uncle Louis was the bass player on Booker T. He was the original founder of Booker T and the MGs with Steve Cropper, and he co-wrote Green Onions. Didn't you know this? I thought,
No.
You didn't
Green
know any
Onions.
of
You
this?
told me we talked about Green Onions the other night. Steve Cropper, the Steve Cropper from the Blues Brothers.
Yeah, well, see, after they were in the studio, there was another guy that was supposed to come in and do a track that day, and they were all session guys. Booker T was in his teens, Steve Cropper was just a little bit older than him, and Al Jackson was doing all the drums, and my Uncle Louis, who really, like my father, had a jazz background. But see, it was the same thing at Motown with the Funk Brothers. All those guys, they played jazz, but the funk was in them, So, but the session was going on, was late, and the guy didn't show up, so they were dismissed for a while. And my uncle told a story. He says, "I went across the street. I love Peter Gunn. I don't know if you guys know the Peter Gunn thing. It goes, bum, 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 da, 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 da," and he just loved it. So he went back to the studio, and the recording artist still didn't show up, and so he's playing that. And I guess Al Jackson started doing something on drums, and he took da 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 da, and he started da 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 da, the same kind of notes up and down, and he just turned it around. All of a sudden, they were all in, and luckily, the engineer recorded it. And I think they did a second track or something, but they never thought they were going to beat Booker T and the MGs. They were just the session guys. So he was one of the founders. He was cut in. He got the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, the Grammy Lifetime Achievement Award, all that stuff with the guys, because he was before Duck Dunn, and he played on the hits.
Wow.
The first 2 albums.
And he just fell into that almost, the way you're...
Who is that?
I don't know.
That was me. I'm so sorry.
Solid.
Oh
You see,
my.
I turned mine off. Okay.
This is what happens when because again, Apple products, all of them talk to each other.
Yes, I know.
And so of course, I had my it wasn't even my phone that it was my iPad that decided to start ringing at me. It's like, hey, someone's trying to. Oh my goodness, never a dull moment. Am I right?
Hey, that was
I had no
fun.
idea there was such a connection to the Blues Brothers. Duck Dunn and he passed away, didn't he?
Yes, he did, and but they wanted Louis to accept the award with them because he's the one that played on it. In fact, Louis also co-wrote. It was called Soul Dressing. That was one of the things running when in Sling Blade when he was getting ready to go and cut what's his name's head off.
Yeah.
Dwight Yoakam.
Yeah, he was going for Dwight Yoakam, man, and he had that, and
God,
so
he was so good in that. Such a jerk in that movie.
yeah, I know he was. We all wanted him to get it, and so so when he's walking, he's made up his mind he's going to do this, and so he's walking across the yard or whatever, and I when I heard it, I went, boy, that sounds very Memphis-y, and then I saw at the end, Louis Steinberg, Al Cropper, Al Jackson, Steve Cropper,
Cropper.
yeah.
Man, oh man. Oh,
Yeah.
that's
How cool.
Yeah, and my dad, he taught his brothers because he had an orchestra, jazz orchestra, and he was always the first call trumpet player anytime anybody came in town, whether it was Duke Ellington or any of those guys, because they say, call that, he can hit those high notes,
Your family's played with the legends.
Yeah, and so they're in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, and then my mother was in radio, and she's in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. So they keep getting mixed up. My mother as saying that my uncle and my mother are brothers and sisters, but they're not. And
Wow.
yes, Jason, we have some Jews in there, but we also have a lot of Catholics. So, and some black folks too. So it's
You
hello,
got
America.
diversity.
I am
That's awesome.
quite diverse.
Oh my goodness. I mean,
Yeah.
it sounds like you didn't have a choice. That
No,
entertainment was in your blood. It was in your. I mean, it was in the foundation of your family. Even. I
well,
mean, it's.
listen, I was the first grandchild of 15 sons and daughters. So when I came out, I wouldn't say I was spoiled, but by the time I got to this 4 or 5 year old and I was dancing and everything, so they would always encourage it. They always encourage, and then I heard the music. I mean, the people that used to come to the house to play music. I mean, it
I
were
can't imagine.
yeah. I mean, some people who I thought the guy Gus Cannon down the road and across the tracks. I thought that he was the guy that cut the yard for some people, and I find out that my dad said, "Come in here, Gus. I want you to talk to Diane." And he says Gus Cannon had one of the first jug bands, and he wrote a song called "Sit Right." Get right up, set right down, baby. Let your hair hang down. You know that
Yeah,
Peter
walk
Paul and
right
there.
in, set
Sit
right
right
down.
down, walk right in. So he wrote that,
Oh my
and
God.
so and he was so happy. I think they gave him like $1,500
Holy
for it. But
shnikes.
Wow.
so we, you know,
And
we,
the songs people still know it today.
yeah, they do that. But well, he would come in and this just happened a couple of times. We were so shocked that this was the guy that wrote that song, and they did a big story on him and everything. And so he came in the house and he showed us he played the spoons, because in those jug band days they just pull from whatever,
Yeah.
to make music. And so I got a chance to play piano with him and sing the song, and it's I'll never
Whoa.
forget
Oh,
that.
how neat is that?
Well,
Yeah.
that's so cool.
And then Willie Mitchell was a trumpet player in Memphis, and he was the Memphis Horns that were on all of the bar. What do you call them? See, I'm getting ready to say bar flies. That's not what I mean. They were on the bar keys. They're the
Oh, the
marquees and the
Bar-Kays,
bar
yes.
case. So Willie Mitchell horns were played all the horn parts for them, but he also played for they played on the marquees for the big song Last Night.
I love that song. Our first episode, we played that song. Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, guess what? Duck couldn't make the session that day, and so they got another guy to come in, and he wasn't cutting it. And so they said, call Louis Steinberg. So Louis went over and cut it, and he's the bass player on the track. And so that's a fact,
Your
'cause
uncle played on Last Night.
yeah,
That's
Wow.
great.
yeah.
my
I
goodness.
do love that song. That was used in one of my favorite British comedies, Bottom.
Oh, really?
Rick Mayall, yes.
So basically, I just had it all around me anyway, but it was natural. But when I went to college, I wanted to be a dancer. So, dancing was, that was my breath. I mean, the other stuff just came easy.
Yeah.
And I never studied voice, but classical piano. So I thought I was going to be a concert pianist. So since my school, if you were going to be a dancer, you had to be in physical education because they didn't offer a performance class, like they do now. You can study music law and all that stuff, and at least know how to fill out a copyright form nowadays. In those days, they didn't have that. So anyway,
Wow.
You started
am I
young.
boring you guys?
No,
I
I'm
am-
so into it.
I'm in awe. Okay,
Yeah,
like
me
truly.
too.
I mean, especially because like me as a musician, I grew up. My father was a Marine. My mother was a nurse, and I mean, up until the day they both died. Well, no, my father. Okay, the last 5 years of my father's life, he actually got to see me perform. I mean, as a kid, it was always
Oh,
it was always
yeah.
growing up. He was always, he was like, just make a tape, send it to Paul McCartney, get famous already. That was my father's motto.
Yeah.
And finally, I had to step away from all that, continue to do what I thought my path was, and I was performing with the Pennsylvania Ballet at the Academy of Music, America's first opera house.
Oh my God.
And my father reached out and said, "Hey, I want to come see you play. Or are you playing anywhere soon?" I said, "Yeah, come to the Academy of Music. I'll have a ticket waiting for you." And after the performance, my father was waiting by the by the stage door. He had his playbill in his hand with a pen, and he had tears in his eyes. And he gave me the biggest hug and said, "I had no idea." So I mean, I kind of had I was one of those people that was swimming against the current. It was a battle to try to find people that were close, that really could understand the fact that I wasn't trying to get famous. I wasn't trying to do anything. I'm trying to share a story
Yeah.
and to enrich other people's lives.
Yeah. Yeah.
I was given this ability, and it's my responsibility
It is.
to share it with people. And it seems like you came up with a family that understood that,
Yeah.
and you yourself seem to really understand that, because you saw that art, it moved through you in so many ways. Storytelling moved through you in so many ways. And right now and speaking about moving in so many ways, we're going to move away from Facebook. So our friends that are watching on Facebook, thank you so much. If you're catching this live or as a
Come on over.
rebroadcast, yes, please pop on over to Twitch. Be sure to follow us there. Again, HIJ Podcast, twitch.tv/HIJ Podcast. And those of you that are on Twitch, hang in there, because we are going to continue this amazing conversation with Dianne Steinberg Lewis from the Sgt. Pepper's Lonely Hearts Club Band movie. Stick around. We will be right back.
Hello.
And we're back.
I loved your graceful exit there, Diane. That was so lovely.
Yeah. Well, I try.
So, was Sergeant Pepper your first film?
Oh yeah.
How did
And
you?
as you know, it's the last one too. No. Yes, it was my first film, and I was working on my finishing up my album at ABC Records. I'd had my first album with Atlantic, and a lot of the players and producers that worked with me on that Atlantic project were part of the Philly sound scene. So I got to work with some of those musicians too. So.
Also a legendary scene in Philadelphia. I got to interrupt
Oh,
I'll
Gamble and
name
Huff.
drop. My stepbrother's a singer-songwriter who's really big in the Philly scene now, named Amos Lee. Have
Wow.
you ever heard of him?
No, I haven't, but I'll look him up after this.
He's not a household name, but he does sell out. He sells out Red Rocks. He plays all over the world.
Wow.
He had that really popular tune, the Sweet Pea, Apple of My
Oh
Eye.
yeah. Oh yeah.
You're
Okay.
the only
know it.
reason you keep on
Nice.
coming home.
I like that.
Yeah.
Oh,
Nice
Justin.
version. I know.
Oh, stop. You flirt.
So were you a solo artist before on your album, or were you with a band?
My first album, we used Philadelphia musicians, and then after I heard it, and there was a lot of original tunes, and and I did a cover of Gee Whiz, because since I was from Memphis, I wanted to give a tribute to a Memphis artist like Carla Thomas, and so I did it, and that's the one they released, and so and then because I was teaching high school before that, I taught.
Wow.
Music, and it was always my plan: go to college, make sure you since you're not going to be a concert pianist, they tell you fairly early on if they think you got it to be a professional musician in that way, but we know that there are lots of people that can't even hardly carry a tune that's making billions of dollars, so we're not putting down anybody's talent. You never know how things
If they're
work
making
out.
billions of dollars and can't sing, you could put down their talent because because they know the right people, and that doesn't count.
Not all the time.
No, I'm just kidding. I'm
Sometimes
kidding.
it's fluky,
Sometimes
but
they got a great stage presence.
yeah, yeah. I won't mention names right now. I'll get on with the story. Where was I? I'm older now, so I kind of lose track of things. But well, where was I? Oh, talking about teaching. So I taught,
Yeah.
and then after I taught for about 2.5 years, and we took the choir to Romania and stayed there a couple of weeks, and then I went, well, it's time for me to do my dream and get. And I had been performing in clubs all through college. I went to Western Michigan University in Kalamazoo, Michigan, and I even did radio there, a wider radio. So I figured the more things you know how to do, especially if you're going to go into acting, you're going to use everything. I don't care if it's ice skating or roller skating or riding a horse or picking your nose or whatever. If you're,
I knew how to do that when I was young.
I got the idea because I saw you doing this, and I went, "Well, why not?" I'm not gonna pick on you, Jason. I'm sorry.
Oh, you can pick on me. It's fine.
But the more things you know how to do, you're going to be able to take a role and really put something in it because you have something behind those eyes about these things.
I wish I had that kind of knowledge growing up. That's so smart.
What? What I just
That
said?
I had that kind of knowledge growing up when I was young. I was so in the moment. I didn't think. I never thought about the future. That's why I was always terrible with money, and I was always shy. I didn't get on stage till I was 29 years old.
Well, here you are now. So hey.
But now 20 years later, yes.
And you're feeling real good about it. And
Yes.
I heard a teacher talk to a classmate of my daughters when she's 20. She's going to be 25 here pretty soon. But I remember when she was in grade school, and one of the music teachers, an elderly lady, told a young man who was trying to sing and went right to him and said, "You're never going to be a singer. You don't need to be in music." And I was beside myself. I mean, I couldn't believe she said it. So I started calling up the other music teachers in town and going, "Look, what's going on?" Because after I did the movie, I had my life. I went back to teaching because once you have all these things, you have to share. And for me, listen, Justin and Jason, you're gonna find that when you see young people do what you know to do, it's gonna be really hard to bite your tongue because you're gonna something just reaches out from your soul because you know where they're going when you see it happen, And so me kind of picking up my teaching again, and actually when in that grade school thing with my daughter, I didn't teach anymore until I started subbing for other music and theater people in town because that's easy for me to do because subs, what do you do? Do you remember when a sub came to your class and you thought, we're going to look at TV today or a movie or do something? So when I subbed for the music people, I go in and the kids, first thing they ask is, "What movie are we going to watch today?" And I go, "Well, let's see." And then I start hitting all the chords, getting ready for vocalises, and I go, "Ooh, she's serious." So we don't waste time. We don't waste time. And then the teachers would come back and all of their music would be figured out. The kids had practiced and they'd go, "My God, they're ahead of schedule." And I think that it felt good for me to do that. But when I see anybody that tells somebody they can't do anything, I'm beside myself because I had a girl that was kind of an elective mute when it came to singing, but she wanted to be in that class so bad. Oh my God. So she didn't have anywhere else to go, and I let her stay. And here it is, all these years later, I saw her on Facebook with an accompanist singing at an elderly home, and she sounded pretty good,
Good for her.
Yeah. So, I mean, you never know you don't know. Music is healing, and music is medicine, and music is protest. It's everything that it's meant to be when it's going to touch someone or convey an idea. So
No, I
You
love
summed
that.
up beautifully. Absolutely.
Or make someone get up and boogie. So, gotta do it, man. All right.
It's so funny, because I was listening to you talk, and I love how you talk about, how dancing was so important to you. I'm just thinking, like, oh my goodness, I feel like I almost lived like such a similar life, because like I took ballroom dancing, and it was something that was really meaningful to me.
Yeah, yeah.
I taught for 4 years. I was an assistant band director for 4 years.
Oh, I love it when the subs come in the band and all the kids switch the instruments, thinking you're not gonna get on to crap, And I go, okay, play me a solo. I'm gonna accompany you, and then they go, well, and I go, you got 5, 4, 3, 2. And then they go and get back. Go ahead. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off.
No, I don't know. I'm eating up every story you're telling. It's so great. So now you had mentioned that you have a daughter. Is she musically inclined as well, or artistically inclined?
My elder daughter, in fact, she went to Laguna College of Art and Design, but when she was in high school, she was always drawing, even in grade school, always drawing. I mean, she just did detail little things, but she went to a grade school that had a symphony of like, you had to be in the 2nd and 3rd grade, and they gave you your first violin.
Oh, wow.
And so she started with the violin. She said she didn't like it. And then she saw my dad posed up with his little curl in the front and his trumpet like this. And she went, nah, that's for me. So then she went and started playing trumpet. Then she had to get braces. And they said, you're going to have to play the clarinet. And she went, oh, hell no. And so she went and started being one of the first girls playing tuba.
No way, that's great.
I play tuba. That's my instrument.
Did I give birth to you and I don't know it? Justin?
We're kismet spirits. I
don't know. My breasts are aching.
It sounds like your dad was Sergeant Pepper himself.
Oh, I'm sorry, ladies and gentlemen. I'm just, a little bit of Stephen Colbert, of course, he would have said it. It came into my ear right then. But but she was always drawing, and then it was time for her to make a decision. She was in honor band, she was a jazz band, then she came in with me and started playing bass, and then she decided, nope, I'm going to major in art, and she got accepted. And she's she just left DreamWorks and got accepted at Disney, which has been her dream forever.
Oh my goodness!
And she had on Netflix, it's Archibald's next big adventure. She was the art director for that, and her name is Sierra Lewis. And they play the series.
Worked out for her.
Yeah, wow. Yeah, but she now she's going to Disney, and I mean, I can't imagine.
Artistic director at Disney?
I don't know, but she's got a really good lawyer and who negotiates her more and more money, and I think I'm gonna have to call this lawyer.
That's so great.
We've gotten so smart for our pens. We think we can do everything on our own, and I'm going like, no, don't do that.
I'm so happy for you. You really have to be proud.
I'm very proud. And my other daughter went to Maryland Institute College of Art, and then she dropped out. And now, don't play this tape. You got to cut that part out. She'll come Mom. No, but she dropped out for a couple of years, and then she decided this was really great because you can do everything online now. Mm-hmm. So she's back in it, made the dean's list, and she should be graduating after this next semester.
That's fantastic.
Yeah.
That's I think also the amazing thing about art school, especially if you go to a good art school where they do kind of give you that flexibility. I went to the University of the Arts in Philadelphia, and I never finished my degree. Part of it was I got sick in my freshman year. I was diagnosed with multiple sclerosis, and that took me out of commission, and I was concentrating on my health. And then I started working with my voice teacher to get myself back into shape. And then
Yeah.
I was starting to get offered international recital tours.
Wow.
So I said, well, why am I going to finish up the degree if I'm working on the degree so that I can get the recital tours, but I'm getting the recital tours now. So why am I going to work on the degree?
Well, I mean, it's how you look at it. Sometimes I figure, especially in the arts, see, you're at that next level where you're working in the arts and you're working professionally. For some of the kids, I say, you know, look, I started doing music when I was in the clubs when I was in college on the weekends. I found out this girl named Marcia G. I gotta track her down. She was playing guitar, Puff the Magic Track, and here I am with all of my keyboard stuff, and I'm thinking I'm Streisand, and I'm thinking I'm Roberta Flack, and I'm thinking I'm, and I'm thinking $4 not $4 an hour or $4. Sure, no, $4 an hour. How many? $20? Oh man! In those days, I went, man, I can pay back all those cigarette debts I've smoked and hit up everything. And so I went over there, and that's how it started. Wow. And then one thing goes to the other, and you just open yourself up, and And I had a piano. Oh, check this out. This place was called the Whistle Stop, and it was a caboose on the tracks, and it had one other car, a great restaurant. But then here's the caboose, and the piano's way over here at the top. This was an upright piano, and every time I would play it, the front of it would like fall. So I had to take like cocktail toothpicks, and I figured out how to put them in where the wooden part. I figured it out, and it was fine. I mean, it was out of tune, but I still played. I gotta tell you this: I would play Roberta Flack. First time ever I saw. They go, who? I love that song. I said it's by Roberta Flack. Roberta who? So they thought I wrote it. I let them think it for a while. But, they don't know who she is. And I swear it was like. Because my mother was a DJ, I used to get all these albums early before the public ever. Some of the DJs hadn't even heard them yet. So I would like audition the albums for my mom. I go, this one is good. You ought to play. I don't know. This one is called some girl named Shaka Khan, And so she'd go, well, let's play this. It's called Rufus, And so I would listen to all this different music coming in. So I was able to have a repertoire of songs that nobody heard before, or nobody would play because they weren't the hits. So that was kind of the bulk of my repertoire, playing things that people liked. Of course, people like Beatles, and they like Moon River. I mean, I loved because the university had a theater. So after whoever was at the theater, they'd come over to the Whistle Stop. So I was able to perform and sing for Henry Mancini and and just go, this is a song for you, Henry. And he'd wave, It's I didn't shoot. But anyway.
You were in a movie though with legends. The Beatles, Peter Frampton, Aerosmith, Alice Cooper, Steve Martin, George Burns. Did you get to meet any of the like George Burns or
Are you kidding? I met George. Oh my God! I'm gonna have to. How long is this show?
Oh, it's for you as long as you want it to be. Jesus Christ, this is so much fun.
Listen, you're gonna have to get people to tell you if I'm not boring everybody. Okay, I forget it. I'll just keep going.
I haven't even spoke.
You're the producer. You're the producer. Yes, darling. Would you like me to continue?
Let it roll. Yes. Let it roll, baby. Please. Are you kidding? Well, first off, and again, I love the story that you just told, though, about, Mom being a DJ. You came up, though, in such a golden era of great music.
Yeah, I grew up with B.B. King. He used to, I've met all of them. I've known, first time I met B.B. King, I was about 10. Then I met him.
I don't have a first time 11. I met B.B. Oh, look what Moonlight said.
Moonlight's just said, I could,
Dianne.
Absolutely. So one of our listeners just wrote in. Their name is Moonlights, is what they go by, and it says, "I could stay up all night listening to Dianne." And Lulu Lounge she's one of our listeners from overseas in the UK. She said, Carry on. So,
Darling, let me tell you, Lulu, I have a story for you now. Okay, so where's Lulu? She's from the UK?
She's from the UK, yes.
Okay, so I was contacted. I did one podcast, the first one I did, and so I was contacted by a guy that's writing a book about Donald Pleasance, and so he wants me to be one of 50 stars that comment about him. And I do know that Leslie Ann Warren and F. Murray Abraham is going to be two of them. So I was able to share with him all kinds of stories. So,
Donald Pleasance is a legend.
yeah,
And
he
that was
is.
that was the weirdest scene in the entire Sergeant Pepper movie.
Which
Singing
one?
"I Want You" with Donald
Oh,
Pleasance.
oh God.
The last person. I want you.
Listen,
I shot him 6 times.
I want you. I want you so bad. Well, see, the funny thing is, after he did it, and because we went in and we cut first. This was at Cherokee Studios. Cherokee, everybody went over to Cherokee, but we cut with Martin and George Martin, who was
George Martin.
the George Martin, the Beatles producer, and Jeff Emmerich, Geoff, not J. Forget that. So we didn't really know. Like I said, as we started out our whole initial conversation, we didn't know except what the script had, but we hadn't actually sat down. You didn't sit like some people, like I'm sure the comedy people at SCTV, and that's a long time ago. Saturday Night.
On that.
Oh, me too. I miss them. Oh God, I wish they'd play some of their reruns. But anyway, that's Canada, people. But I tell you, one thing that goes in my mind all the time when I would see some things, and we won't get into any political things, but I would always remember when they would have the scene where they're people that they wanted to blow up, and they go,
"He blowed up real good.
He blowed up real good."
Yes.
You go,
Don
yeah,
Cody.
let's. So anyway, see, now I don't even know what I was talking about now.
You were talking about working with George Martin in the studio.
Oh yeah. So we went in and we sang our part. I mean, frankly, if I had a chance after we did the movie or any time, if what I know now, I think I would have approached these songs vocally a different way. I mean, we weren't going to stray that far from anything. I think the only ones that strayed was Earth, Wind, and Fire and Steve Tyler. And
those two songs became hits from that movie.
Well, yeah.
Earth, Wind,
But
and
they
Fire
weren't.
version of.
Yeah, but they weren't going to let the Bee Gees do their own thing on it because the disco thing was breaking then. So,
Yeah.
I could just go, oh, darling. Oh, well, anyway, so we don't want to mess that song. So, and that was the wrong choice anyway. So, so I remember Donald saying, if I had known, I mean, here's a guy that does so many movies. In fact, I don't even remember seeing him in the final cut on the end. He might have been working on something else. I don't know, but I'll have to double check that.
That came out around the same time as Halloween, didn't it?
I don't know.
Yeah, Halloween was
It
78.
Yeah, it was 78. So he said, I don't know. I did it with the British accent, and I should have done it with like a New York. I mean, so here's a great actor, like second guessing himself, like I second guess myself, or like I'm sure anybody trying to formulate what they're going to do with the part is have things running in their head about that. So, and I'm thinking, I want you. It was perfect. I mean, B.D. Brockhurst is going to be something other than someone with an English accent or British accent. I mean, it's perfect. I'm glad he didn't think about it too much. So
the English accent was perfect. It was just the right amount of sleaze it gave him. With that wig.
Hey, you might get some letters on that.
Oh, you were talking about George Burns.
Oh, George. Now, I met George at a party. I had just gotten my manager for after the Atlantic Records. Remember, I had that one first. So I got a manager. In fact, his name was Michael Wiener. And In fact, he invented books on tape way back then.
Wow.
His wife was Deborah Raffin, and she was in a movie called 48 Carats or something, and I think she won an Academy Award for that. But they developed this books on tape thing. So anyway, my mother said, "You need a lawyer. I mean, a manager. You need that right now." But anyway, I need a manager, and so Michael Vina was it. So he gave a party at Perry Botkin's house. Perry Botkin is the guy that wrote "God Bless the Beast and the Children," for
Oh yeah.
The Young and the Restless, and he got a hit with that and everything. So I'm over there, and so I'm talking to this other young lady who's a starlet, and so she comes out, and we're talking about what's your career, who are you, yeah, and it was a party for actually Harry Nielsen. So I got, somebody's got a kitty cat.
Yeah, that's me. I got two sisters. She's
I
trying to
love
knock
that.
over the laptop.
Okay, let me. Should I keep going?
Yes, yeah, the cat doesn't care.
Oh, baby. Okay, so
In fact, this one cat, Gidget, is a fan of Harry Nielsen, and she's like, "Oh my God, Diane went to a party with Harry Nielsen."
oh, she was chiming in like, give me
That's what she
five.
was
All
saying.
right.
Yes.
Harry
So-
Nielsen. I sometimes go on because he wrote The Point, right?
honey,
And
I didn't know Harry Nielsen until I met him that day. So
there's
I
the
mean-
kitty. There's the kitty cat here. So I'll let you see Diane here. I'm gonna bring it up big on screen so you can see.
oh,
Oh,
There's our
Gidget.
kitty. That's Gidget.
can I
Gidget's like, I've had enough of this, Dad.
Okay, so anyway, don't get me going. You're right. Hey, I'm supposed to be looking like some glamorous lady. Oh, that's all right. I'll
You
be the
do
mom.
look glamorous.
You do
I'm
look
just-
glamorous.
I'm just jiving, guys. Okay, so let me finish the story. So then, I'm with the starlet, right? And so here comes this little guy, and we go, "Hi, George." And he came, he had his cigar, and he comes over, with his drink, and he goes, "You beautiful girls." And he says, "Tell us about Gracie." And and I say, I know that if my mother and my grandmother knew that I was like meeting George Burns that day, oh my God. So on the first day of shooting, George came out of the wagon, one of the dressing rooms, and he with Diane. And I went, oh my God, he remembered my name.
Oh, how cool.
So I met George, and I've known Billy Preston because he knew my mother being the DJ and everything. So,
and he
so-
did a great version of Get Back in that movie.
yes, he did.
Great.
Yes, he
keyboard player.
did. And let's see. So yeah, and so then they gave another party for Harry Nielsen, and I went to that one. And so George was at the second party, and like I said, Stella Stevens and all these people I'd seen on Star Trek, and the green lady that does the sexy dance. She's
Yes,
that
yeah.
first one.
Oh,
okay.
yeah.
She's this lady that changes costumes and colors and everything. But anyway, and I can't remember her name for the life of me. But here comes this guy in a group, and so Wiener comes over to me and says, "No, it was Harry Nielsen." Nielsen came over and he said, "Diane, I want to introduce you." So I see this group of about 6 people, and I go, "Oh, I know who that is." So Harry Nielsen says, "Diane, I'd like to introduce you to John Lennon." And he was with May Pang, because he and Yoko had broken up. Are you freaking out, Justin?
I am freaking out like you cannot. Okay, first off, I get starstruck so easily. Okay, I really do, and I've had the pleasure of working with some really high profile folks. I've backed Chubby Checker. I've gotten to sing with Rod Stewart. So
I got a Rod Stewart story.
Oh wow.
so I've gotten to work with some folks, but I mean, again, but again, when I bring up about the fact that you've had this opportunity to work in this golden era with these amazing musicians and gotten to live through this music. I mean, and I have the pleasure of working with some people who, again, I've been with Jason, but like my pianist, for instance, when I go out and I do gigs, the pianist that I work on, his claim to fame is he's the flute player on The Hustle. So I get to work with these people that have been in the.
Hey, we can sing it right now. Which way?
But it's amazing though. Again, and it's funny. Like when I tell people, like, a couple of years ago, like, oh yeah, no, I got a last minute call to sing with Lenny Kravitz. And some people are like, wait, you sang with Lenny Kravitz? It's all stuff that we've done in our lives, and so it's just it's a moment to us, and just like I'm sure, like, for you, you're enjoying telling this story, but how amazing is it, the fact that, oh yeah, by the way, I just wanted to introduce you to John Lennon. How cool is that?
Yeah.
Did you say, and you're with what band?
Yes. What band are you in, John? I'm sorry, I didn't.
No. See, because I've come up with so many legends as I've come up. Yeah. I mean, Smokey Robinson. I mean, there's so many people that I've. In other words, and my mother. And I will say this, I said to some of the girls when I was teaching high school, when they realized that Kenny was my husband and he was in a Steve Miller band, and I said, not just my husband, but if I see any of you backstage, like acting like fools over these rock and rollers, I'm going to snatch you by your hair and pull you out in the hallway, So keep yourself together. You are a star. You are a queen. Carry yourself like that. Don't be like this. Groupie. So anyway, that's my orientation. Some people love being groupie, so to each his own. But
it is kind of fun when you get to talk to someone like you, who I've been watching since I was in the 70s.
What does that mean? Movie. Since you were like 5 years old or something?
Single digits, but still. But you're someone I've just known who you were for so long. And then get this opportunity to chat with you. It's just an honor.
Well, it's an honor for you to have me, guys. Really. I'm serious.
It is, and your husband is the guy who went do before some people call me the Space Cowboy. Is that
him? That's fun. That's not my husband. That's Steve Miller.
But he plays the do.
Yes, he does.
That's
he was in the band in the 80s, and he was the lead guitar player.
Oh, I thought he was the bass player. I'm sorry.
Well, no. And then the bass player, about 8 or 9 years ago, was up in a tree. Billy Peterson was playing bass by that time, because we know all the bass players has ever been with the band and all the drummers that have ever been with the band. Not the ones when Boz Scaggs was in the band. I mean, we still know some of those guys, but Kenny knows them all. But me, I mean, I know.
When you said up in a tree, you just kind of skimmed by that.
I'm sorry.
The bass player was up in a tree.
He was up in a tree. He had one of those chainsaws, and he went up on a ladder to cut some stuff, and it was like, hey, boom. And so he kind of broke his foot in about 7 places. That was Billy Peterson. So so Steve called. He went, God, I'm going to have to, because Billy's brother, he had 2 brothers that also played in Steve Miller's band. When Steve decided that he wanted to do some jazz for a while, all musicians go through, it's not good enough to what I'm saying. Even B.B. King, he went, I got to do some jazz and get some like fancy chords, and then it all comes down to
I think anything you do, you want to change. You want to change. You do all this comedy, you want to do drama or horror.
Yeah. And then your audience will go. I remember when he was just going to do Steve Miller, when he was going to do all blues, and we were at Pepperdine College, and backstage, and he's doing all this blues stuff, and then you get one person that goes, "The Joker," and
Yeah.
you know, and then after a while, you got to give it up and just go give them what they want.
Of course.
I want it too. So
So that was
I was going to tell you something else, and I can't remember what it was.
was it about Sergeant Pepper?
Yeah, probably. But you better ask me another question. I'll think of it.
Here's a question, because again, I'm kind of going, and that's the thing is I'm all over the place. You have so many great stories, Diane. Or truly,
Yeah, I know. How much time we got?
Well, we go anywhere between an hour and 90 minutes, and we're at 57. So again,
Okay. All
yeah. So
right.
we've got a little bit of time.
We got a little time to keep a hoo-ha going.
Yeah, and again, I'm all over the place right now because I don't know. Do I want to talk about Sergeant Pepper? Do I want to talk about and I am going to want to talk about what are you doing now, because I know that you are you're now just trying to talk to people about looking at bookings, because we're getting to that time of COVID. So I do want to touch on that, but I will have to ask you this. Again, you grew up with music in your household as a child. If you had to go back and think, who was the person, because you said that your family would, these famous people would just kind of pop on over at your house occasionally. Who was the one where you're like, oh my goodness, I can't believe so and so just walked over my threshold of my house and they're in my house right now? What's your oh my goodness?
I'll tell you what. When I think about it, I kind of cringe.
Ooh.
They, I say I wish I had my scrapbook up, because then I'd put a picture up there right in your face right there. But we went to this Goodwill review, and there was this raindrops are falling on my. I don't even know who the guy is, and that's
Thomas.
BJ
no,
Thomas. No,
but I will. No, I like BJ Thomas. Oh my God! Oh, but anyway, I went to sidetrack. Oh my God! Okay, so see, now I can't think anything but him. All right,
Sorry.
all right.
That face. You got a good stare.
Oh yeah. See, because I know that I'm looking at you when I do that, but when I'm looking at you down here, okay. So I forgot what I was saying. Dot.
we're talking about the amazing people that have come into your home as a child.
Oh, I was telling you a cringe thing.
Yes, the cringe
Well,
moment.
I wanted this guy. Nobody even knows who he is anymore. I wanted that autograph. And they put us all together, and they said, "Come on over here. You're going to take a picture with BB King." And I was going, oh. When you're younger, you just think stupid things.
You're like,
And
oh,
they took, but
BB
they
King
took
again.
they took a picture of me and my sisters with backstage with BB King in this white suit, and I still have it. I love putting it on Facebook for everybody to see. And then I saw BB King again when I was 20 in my 20s. Then I saw him again when I was in my 40s, and then I saw him again when I was 39 again a few years back. So, and he said, and he had opened up for Peter Frampton. And so we went back, and they usually after the show, they get in the bus and they go. I forgot what they call it. They have a name for leaving right after the show and
The
going.
Irish goodbye.
No, it's something else. I wish I could remember. I'd say hit and run, but no. But there was a guy, Charlie Tuna, who played guitar, and he just died. God rest his soul. But Charlie said, "BB says, come on back." And so we go on the bus, and everybody on the bus is looking at us like, "God, you're holding us up." And we went. My daughter went. My younger daughter went, and we took pictures. I'll send you pictures and stuff. Okay.
Oh, please do. My goodness.
Took pictures, and then they said, "You can't take pictures in here." And he said, "Leave them alone. This is family. This is family here. give me all those pictures. And he's signing pictures. Can we take pictures of you signing these things? So he signed, he said, yeah, take all the pictures you want. And then he said, your mother married that trumpet player, didn't she? So anyway, we had a whole discussion about that because she knew him because they were both in radio in Memphis. That's where he got started. In fact, my mother gave Isaac Hayes his first.
Isaac Hayes?
Oh yeah, he was on radio. You know, he's from Memphis, Tennessee.
Oh, with that voice, holy moly!
Oh yeah, but yeah, can you imagine?
Oh,
I talked to a lawyer the other day, and his voice was so he's in Pittsburgh, and I went, Paul, your voice, and he says I hear it all the time. So
Was it Paul Nicholas?
oh no, was it Paul Nicholas?
You
that
said
what
Paul, so I didn't know if you
Oh,
were.
no, his name was actually his name was Paul Bazilla, but he had this deep voice, and I saw a picture of him, and he's real tall, so that gives you that resonating bod. So anyway, whatever. Okay, so you about Sergeant Pepper. I don't know what to tell you. You got to ask me a question. Truth or dare? Truth or dare?
Did you call your dad Sergeant Pepper since he played the trumpet?
No, my dad was called the Maestro.
ooh, is that what people called him, the Maestro?
Well, yeah, they nicknamed him that because he had his own orchestra.
Oh, I love that.
And my uncles were in the band with other notable jazz people that have gone on since,
Wow.
But and I remember when they called me after my first record came out, and it was jazz guys, and they go, "Come down to Memphis. We want to get you on stage and see what you can do." I'm thinking like, hell no, they're not going to get me on stage. I play pop. I don't play jazz. They're bop players. They're bebop players. All that's, And so I got a little intimidated by that. And so I kind of got in touch why some musicians feel like they want to play jazz. I mean, you got to hear it. You got to feel it. You got to be around it,
Yeah.
And it's okay to try it,
I love playing jazz. I'm learning jazz on piano, and I'm loving it. I'm loving being able to do it.
What's your favorite guy or woman?
I've learned a few. Sorry, I've learned a few Duke Ellingtons lately, and I'm loving it. And now I'm learning the Muppet Show theme, which is kind of ragtimey. I'm having so much fun. I started playing piano during the pandemic in April.
Yeah, well, you've had a year. So,
a year in.
So are you playing ragtime, or what are you playing?
I started with St. James Infirmary.
You're doing some bluesy stuff.
Bluesy, jazzy stuff. I'm having so much fun with it. I learned St. James Infirmary, Take the A Train.
Delia. Are you playing all that stuff? You're pretty good if you're doing that.
The intermediate levels. When you don't leave the house, you got time to practice. People said it was like Groundhog Day during the pandemic, so I thought he learned how to play piano in Groundhog Day. I'm going to learn how to just Gidget.
Is she trying to kiss you? Is that what Gidget's doing?
Cleaning herself, kissing me. All right, Gidge.
See, he's got a new co-host, is what it is. Jeez, my goodness.
She wants my headphones. That's what she wants. Stop, Gidge.
She wants to hear what's going on. That's fine.
She does.
Oh my goodness.
She just wants to know who I am. She
I will
you from the movie.
And I will be a testimonial for Jason. To see someone who has gone literally from day one at the piano in April of last year, now literally a year later. I mean, he's playing stuff like Satin Doll, and and he's really able to swing it and really keep it, keep it good and steady. And again, someone who's literally only been playing for a year, he can cook. He's going to be, once we open all back up, he's going to be doing cocktail gigs.
Hey, dude, you ought to have a cocktail thing right on this show right here. We're going to have 5 minutes with Jason. I mean, you can cut away if he's getting
I
too
think that's
outside, but
hashtag goals, Justin. I think we need to work towards that. I love that idea.
you know what, Diane, I'll tell you, you just gave us a new segment on our show.
I
yeah.
love
Five
that.
minutes with Jason. I love it.
5 minutes with
Or,
Jason.
hey, a song or go in 8 bars. I mean, Stephen Colbert doesn't let what's his name go too long, but he plays little.
yeah.
Hey, you could do the cues in and out of the next segment.
Justin
Jason.
usually does that for me. Justin is my resident musician, band leader. He kind of takes over when it comes to music. He's the Gidget walked by me and got a cat hair all over my nose. I feel it. I'm picking my nose. I just feel cat hairs all over me now.
I'm trying.
All
I'm
right,
trying to
sorry.
see like what instruments I have around me though, because
Okay. Back to Sergeant Pepper. I know
Yes.
we're all over the place. When I watched the Bee Gees documentary, they didn't even touch. It was such. They didn't even touch on Sergeant Pepper. I thought that was such a huge part of them.
Well, that wasn't their music, and also they were kind of told that they could not go too far away from how the songs were arranged. I don't know.
So it
Maybe
wasn't
I don't know
something they were
why.
incredibly proud of.
Pardon me?
It wasn't something they were incredibly proud of then.
Probably. I mean, I don't think Peter Frampton had issues. Some people had issues after they did Sergeant Pepper. Other people, we just move on. Here it is. Now we go. It's like a cult film, and some people just love it and some people don't. But that's with a lot of things. So I'm just happy to have been involved, and Robert Stigwood chose me for the part. So,
I can't picture anybody else in that role.
whoa. I mean, you're really complimentary,
Why?
Jason. I mean, I was going through my head, who else wanted to do this role? And I know that Donna Summers was up for it. I know
You beat out Donna Summers.
Carly Simon was up for it,
Whoa.
but then she didn't want to do it, whatever. I mean,
It was
I've
the
got,
way you sung "You Never Give Me Your Money." It was just perfect. It was one of my
You
favorite
know,
songs in the movie.
I'll tell you what I really like. Dance, if you're going to do music, and musicians don't usually know how to dance worth a damn, I mean, they do herky-jerky things that get attention, like Rolling Stone, what's his name, Mick Jagger?
Mick Jagger.
Oh,
So, it becomes like a style,
They can't all be Weird Al or Mick Jagger,
Who dances like this? So, let's move on from that. But anyway, so musicians don't usually dance, but if you have movement, if it's in you. I mean, I think it helps your music. And I was just about to graduate. I had already done my student teaching, and I had to go back for that last summer. And so I had this piano teacher. This was at Western Michigan. Her name was Phyllis Rappaport. And everybody would say, God, she's so hard, And so every time it was time to try to sign up for who was going to be because that was a public school music keyboard, K through 12 keyboard major. That was my major instrument, and music and theory composition minor. So this was the last time, and I went, oh my God, I got to go in and see Phyllis Rappaport. And I went in, and I'm doing my cadenzas, and I'm trying it again, and doing another, and then she says, listen, put movement on the keyboard. And she sat there, and she went down, she went, here you are, now go into it. And I went, yeah, that's what I like. That's for me. And so I sat there and I went, I can dance at the keyboard, and I went for it. And it's like, it just changed everything for me. And so what I would tell anybody is that, especially students who are listening, don't avoid the hard teacher. I mean, if they're really good, there's something you can get from them. I mean, there's some assholes out there too, but you have to take your chances. But when it comes to performance, you want to get the how you got to navigate and just get in there and learn. If you don't know how to do it, learn how they do it. Ask questions. You meet these stars, ask them questions if there's something that they have. Be a sponge, take it in, mix it all up, and you're just going to be you. And you're going to and if you copy doing somebody else, you won't, it's not going to last long. So you might as well but sometimes you have to try on the shoes or put on the other person to see what it feels like. And I'll tell you, I wanted to put on Madonna. This was after Sgt. Pepper, and we went back in the clubs. And so here she's like a virgin. Hey! And I'm going like, okay, I'm going to do this. And we go play at the gay clubs and everything. And they go, yeah. I mean, I was a star. So one night, I never told anybody I was in Sgt. Pepper because I just wanted them to judge me on my music and to keep it separate,
Yeah,
So, I mean, I did things later on. But one night, I decided I was really going to be Madonna. So I'm doing like a virgin. And then I slide off the keyboard and I go in front. And now I'm on the floor and I'm trying to roll around like she did in the Grammy thing. And I noticed that all the guys are looking at me like this. And I looked up and I went, oh, heck, this does not fit. This is not a fit. And I brushed myself off, took a deep breath, and that was the end of me trying to be Madonna.
Because you're Dianne Steinberg.
That's right. You just take it and you put it in your toolbox, and if you can call on it, because you know what it is. But,
I could see why you got the part over Carly Simon and Donna Summer. They're legends. They got great voices, but you have the actor ability. I could see you. I would think you're more of a Broadway actress.
Oh, I would have loved to have done that. Oh my God!
You totally.
Can you try to see me trying to do all the kicks and stuff they're doing now? You better get in the gymnastics class like last 20 years ago.
That's what I initially thought when I saw you. I looked you up and I was thinking, I wonder if she's done Broadway or theater because you're very theatrical.
Theater. I did. I had already been teaching school, so they said, Diane, they need an Anita for West Side Story. And I had long hair.
I could see that.
And so I went in, and so they said, the teachers, the other choreographers, they said, we're not going to tell the director that you already graduated, so just cool it. We're going to work this out. So I got enrolled into my college, post-college theater master's program. I had to write just something to get me in as a student, and the professor, he was all with it because after he heard me go, I like to be in a man. Okay, and I'm like, I'm doing all the right rhythms and everything, and he went, yep, that's Anita. And then I did I was Aldonza Dulcinea in Man of La Mancha for community theater. So, yeah, I loved it. But film is I like Sgt. Pepper because you're still going to use some of the things that you do, but you're going to dance. You're not going to hold back. But the thing with TV, and this is not news to anybody, you got a TV or film, when they get ready to come in for a close-up, there are other things that you need to know how to play to light, and how you have to have an awareness. Some people don't have it and they do it naturally, or because some directors just want to capture whatever that person is doing. They don't care if they know what they're doing. It's right. So, that's the way it is.
Are you going to say something, Justin?
Wait a minute. Am I sounding too much teachy now? Because then I'll turn to the more
no. Well, yeah. Again, the thing that I love about what Jason and I do on this show is that we get to talk to people about the craft of what we do as entertainers.
Mm-hmm.
And the thing that I'm so speechless about, and again, it kind of makes me feel again that like my 20 years in entertainment that I'm on the right track, because again, the heart of everything that I do, be it the time that I was doing performance magic, or the time that I've done Broadway productions, or the time that I've done opera, or the big band that I've worked with, or my jazz combo, or my original music, or being the lead singer of the Killer Queen experience, it all goes back to telling our story
Yes,
and
does.
sharing that and using all of the tools that we have acquired through art. And I love how you're talking about you got to try this on and see what you can take from it, so that way you learn what your toolbox are, so that you can better tell the story, and not just the story that's on the page, but the story that speaks through you.
Yeah.
And it's so amazing to hear that the just another amazing artist that has been a part of our lives, just reaffirming that reality of that's what we do, be it stand-up comedy, be it musical entertainment, be it film. That again, the whole heart of it is study, try it on, acquire your tools, do the work, because it's not called show fun, it's called show business. And
Yeah.
and the thing is, so then when we show up to do the gig, we can do the gig and not just get through it, but we can enjoy it because we have the tools to be able to do it. And it's just amazing to hear the life that you've led and how much joy there's been in it. And the whole time, not only have you been acquiring these stories, but they become your story. And I'm just in awe. That's it. I'm
I
trying to
can't
think of
top
what to
that.
say.
That's
Well, wait a minute. There's been tears, baby. I
Hey,
gotta
hey,
tell you.
of course. Hey,
Damn.
as anything.
you don't. Yeah, you don't get through it if there's not a little blood, sweat, and tears in it. That's for damn
Yeah.
sure.
Lulu Lounge
That's
said,
true.
"Justin, you've barely got started."
Oh my gosh, tell that to my lower back. My God, please,
Are
if
you hurting?
as oh well, no, I've been doing it. Like I said, I've been doing this for 20 years, and I had mentioned that I was diagnosed with MS, and that kind of knocked me down a few pegs.
Yeah.
I was pursuing a very the traction. I was already doing international recitals, and I was looking into auditioning for residencies at opera houses internationally, and the multiple sclerosis affected my memory. And so I was having difficulty memorizing the opera scores, and so I had to step away from opera. And so it was one of those things where it's like I had to then focus on what is it that I love about this so much that is pushing me to continue down this road. Why do I have to keep doing music? Why do I have to keep entertaining? And it's literally just what we were talking about. It's the
Hey, it's not.
stories.
It's not that. It's not. What? Why do I have to? You just have to say, "Hey, it's what I do.
And that's it, and that's it.
What
It's like
I do."
what is this in me that's pushing me to do it? Why, again, it's like that thing that's calling inside me saying, you've got to do this, Justin, you got to do this. And that's it. At the end of the day, this is what I do. It is. There's nothing else that I can do, because I know that not only is this right for me, it's the good that I could put out into the world. This is the most good that I could do.
Yeah.
And again, it's amazing to hear your stories and your life and the things that you've
Thank
led,
you.
because again, that's what it's about. It's about the greater good that we can put out into the world, not just to make ourselves better, but to make those, and again, that ripple effect, that the people that saw or heard you do this, and then how that touched another and another and another. Again, the most good that we can put out. And it's amazing to hear of all the good that you've done in your career. It's really moving. It truly
Well,
is.
we're doing. I was asked to. The three of us were asked to be accompanists because I play piano, but up at Cuesta College at a class called Cabaret 805,
Hmm.
and so the guy that was leading it, Grant Everett, excuse me, and he said, I want the accompanist to co coach the classes because we all have performance backgrounds. And so it's really nice to have people come in and they go, I just wanted to see if I could sing. And then you go from when they first started, because we record everything, we
Mm.
change the keys to fit them. We help them pick the song. Then we let them pick their songs first. It's interesting. People who think they're Barbara Streisand, they're not. Or they think, I don't know who they think they are, even if it's, you know, we have in our minds what people haven't have really captured us, and then we want to sing those songs. But even if you think you're singing it like them, you're in there. So our job is to pull it out and go, okay, You need to sing this much lower or this much higher. And then we try out different arrangements because everybody that plays the keyboard are arrangers, and I am with one other guy. We're know-it-all, so we go, no, what? And then we make it fun. So once you get to a point where you can get over yourself already, then you're open to receive what somebody's got to tell you. That's why, it's best to know when to listen, when to hold it, fold it, or when to walk away. But if they start walking away, we went, let's try one more thing before you leave. And we find it, It's like, I don't know, not giving up on people who want to give up on themselves and just say, come on, you can do this. You can do it. I mean, look, I don't sing as high as I used to, so I just make jokes and I go, I think I'm going to call myself Smoky Topaz from now on. And I will only do blues.
You need a long cigarette.
Well, the boa feather maybe, but anyway. So it's
Smoky Joe's Cafe.
Yeah. Go see Smoky Topaz at Smoky Joe's.
Oh man, I consider my tickets bought.
Oh yeah. Well,
I was gonna say, speaking of that, you're talking about that now that the COVID times are starting to open up and all
Yes.
that. So you're looking to maybe book some shows upcoming. What's the show that you're looking to do?
Well, Kenny started playing with his band, which is Kenny Lee Lewis and Friends, FRENZ, and I mean this place called Slow Rock. It used to be called Slow Brew, and they have made this place with the right lighting and the backdrops and the multimedia going in the background, and we're going like, wow, this looks serious. I think I can do this again, because, you want to, so it's always been in me to do a one-woman show talking about my life and the things that you find so interesting, and talk about the parents and just even think of it as a production. I don't know if this next one's going to be like this, but where I'm headed is my own thing where I talk about my life and have little people involved who can be me when I was 5 years old, sitting at the piano with a pen, just kind of doing a production like a theater thing.
Oh, I love it.
Listen, if Carole King can do it, I can do it too. So
If he puts us together, we got venues on the East Coast. I could hook you up.
well, I'm gonna make sure it's hooked up real good because I got a lot of friends who play in those shows and stuff in New York.
Oh.
So, are you in New York, by the way?
New Jersey.
Yeah.
That's
Outside of
close enough.
Philadelphia. Yeah.
But the next thing is just Kenny and I have a band together, and he started calling it
Your husband?
Barflies. Yeah, he was calling it Barflies. BAR capital FLYZ. Everything's got a Z in it. So
Cool. You play together. You live together. How long you been married?
we've been together since '77, and we
Wow.
got married in '84.
Wow.
Wow.
Good for you. You stood the test of time.
Oh, honey. Yes.
Sounds like that's for another show.
No, I mean, look, I can talk about the dynamics of husband and wives and bands, but anytime we would travel as a band before we got married, it was like we're together, but you're going to get your own room that has all those fishing reels and all that stuff smelling, and I'm going to have my own in here, so you can visit me. We'll have a date in my room, so don't mess with my makeup and my clothes. No fish grills and stinky nets, and So anyway,
Oh my God.
he's been fishing every day, every
Oh,
other
wow.
day, but he's seen a lot of whales, and then he's been skunked all times except they.
I'm thinking you're still in Tennessee, and I was like, Wales. Okay,
No.
you're on the West Coast.
Yeah, I'm in the Central Coast. I'm in
Yeah, I was
Morrill.
like, what kind of whales
Okay.
are in Tennessee?
Well, some people I know have gained a lot of weight like me. We're all beaching ourselves. So use your imagination. But anyway, so no,
So yeah,
Ladies?
Lulu Lounge put up Man Cave. I guess his man cave is full of fish.
Called Kenny's.
Yeah.
Listen, him and some of the other guys in the band. No matter what venue they go to, wherever Steve Miller plays, they got that fishing hook, and they're out in the back. If there's a lake, they are there, baby. I mean, he doesn't miss. He's got a pet crocodile, and I think that he feeds. I forgot where it is. I think it's in Kentucky. Are there crocodiles in Kentucky?
I wouldn't be surprised.
They have this one venue, and they go down and steps, and this crocodile visits every year. He's getting fatter too, so I would just
A lot of
not.
musicians must be going down there and disappearing.
Yeah,
So.
no, they go down there and they feed them, band food, which is pretty good.
I've had an alligator in Maine at a zoo. They give you a bucket of dead white mice, and you throw it at the alligator, and you just watch them go.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it's
Okay.
really kind of gross.
So anyway,
That's my story.
oh well, geez.
Not
Well,
going to the book.
I think they've even named this alligator or something. But so much stuff goes on the road, and so I get to go out with them. And Peter Frampton opened up for Steve Miller. He's kind of gone into his retirement in a sense. Although he's got a new record out called it's a Clapton's "It's a Pity," and it's an instrumental. It's fabulous. I love it. But he was opening up for Steve Miller for 3 years straight. So I saw him in the band all the time,
Wow.
And
You kept in touch with Peter Frampton.
yeah, kind of hard not to when you're all backstage.
This is your life.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, when I went to that first, when he opened up, when B.B. King opened up for him, Rob Arthur, and he's the one, if you see It's a Pity, the video that Peter Frampton is in, his keyboard player arranged that and all produced it, and I mean, he does beautiful portraits and everything, but he also did the film, the video clip, and it's really quite good. It's really good. In fact, I don't know, I'm gonna have to ask him if he can help me out. Do a video, who knows, I'm just talking, but anyway. So and then Peter, when I first met Rob Arthur, he says, "Yeah, Peter told us all about that love scene on the revolving record," and I just went, "Oh,
That's right. I forgot about that.
yeah, it was,
That was to the That was to the song "I Want You," right?
No, wait a minute, no, yes,
Yeah.
and I got to tell you a story about that revolving record. So." We're on the record, and it's flat and it's a hard surface, and you can see from up above looking down that it's a record. And then, it wasn't the first time. It was a water bid, because we're doing this. And then all of a sudden, I get him to sign the contract, and then we
So you're
start
on a
kissing.
revolving record.
Well, we start kissing, and then they cut. Because they had to switch it out, because you can't have a record revolve and it's a water bed. That's not going to work. So before, when Peter got off, and I was still on, so it was going around, and the guys were on the crew. They thought it was looking pretty good, and that sucker kept going and going and going, and it went faster and faster, and then the centrifugal force, the centrifugal force locked in, and I was like going off, and one of the crew guys tried to catch me, and as he tried to catch me, he laid a big fist right in my face.
Oh no!
And they were going, "Oh, I'm sorry, but what are you going to do?" And then on the motorcycle scene, before we went out to, in the scene where we're in the window on Rodeo Drive as the Cleopatra and the maidens, and then first were the prostitutes walking up and down the street. Did you know that was me, the platinum blonde?
I didn't know that.
Well, you have to go back and look at that now, because that was me. And and then I had a photo double who drove the car when I was doing other scenes, because he could just see the back of her head. So
okay.
so she's still driving, and so now we're on these motorcycles, but right before we got on them, the guy put me on his motorcycle. It was huge. That chopper was huge. And I took a tumble on that. But
Oh my God.
yeah, but it was okay. It was okay. I mean,
You
I
got
didn't
beat
sue
up during this
anybody.
movie.
No, not really. But those are a few things because it's really easy to get hurt on sets if you're not paying attention. You really
Yes.
have to, no matter what anybody have you do in a scene, you have to go out and survey things because yourself. You have to know how, if you're going to fall a certain way and it's on a hill, you have to know, let me just double check again and make sure I'm not going to be going over a bottle or a broken pill. They check it, but you should double check it yourself. So
Even with theater, always check your props, check your stage,
check
everything.
everything
Yes.
because people make mistakes. So you got to cover yourself. And
Absolutely.
yeah, so let's see. I'm trying to think of anything else that happened. Oh, and then once they replaced the water bed, and it was the hard surface. Now we continued with the love scene. Now it's going around. They finally calibrated how fast
That
that
must
thing
have been
was
a
going,
really awkward scene
or
to shoot.
or me and Peter would have been wee, So there was a point where they had us doing this love scene so long.
Were you clothed?
Of course I was.
All right, all right. You said it was a love scene.
Well, it
So
is. Well, you got to look.
I
Where it's
remember a
a
blanket or something over you.
no. You're kissing, and so
Yeah.
it suggests that they're gonna make out or something. Whatever. Lucy was not supposed to be a goody two shoes. But
Well,
anyway,
right.
even though I was. But anyways,
Sandy was the goody two shoes. Strawberry Fields.
yeah. And so funny because Sandy Farina would say to me, I sing the rock and roll stuff, and you should sing the strawberry things because I was more lyric, more melodic, that kind. And she
Yeah.
was really the screamer, and she used to like to sing a lot of R&B and holler and scream and carry on. And so vocally, we could have been switched around.
Wow.
Would have been interesting for us to switch parts just to be funny about it all. And I've talked to her a couple of times about maybe before we all kick the bucket, we should kick it on stage and just kind of talk.
I'll be there for that.
And
Yes.
she's in New York, so I'd have to talk her into it. She's a grandmother now, and putting all of her energy into her grandkids, and who are stellar little gymnasts and so
Oh,
forth.
that's cool.
Yeah. Well, okay. So, can I tell you anything else scandalous or otherwise?
Well, you
I-
can. That's the thing. But I'm looking at the clock, and we're at time. I mean, so
You're
Diane,
perfect.
you,
Okay.
you're
Shoot, there's another show.
you're
Now,
fantastic,
are
and
you singing live, and can people find you somewhere?
Can I send you when we're going to be performing? Because I think I'm pretty sure it's
Absolutely.
going to be slow rock, and
And we'll
everybody
promote
can
it for
see that.
you happily.
And we have some things. I mean, you can find me on YouTube for different things I've done. But wait for the new stuff. That's what I'll say. And then Kenny Lee Lewis with friends will be performing again pretty soon, and I just don't know what he has on the books, but usually I come in and sit in on a tune or two, so I'll let you know about that too.
Love that. Please do.
send us that information, and we will be sure to share it on our Facebook page, folks that are
Yes.
watching, because
you.
again, that's where we disseminate all of the information, and we will be sharing all the goodness. And please, Diane, do us a huge favor: send us that picture with you and BB King in that white suit, and we will put it up ASAP.
Look how beautiful.
Hello. Well, you're still
great
that
shot.
beautiful, if you're asking me, but.
I suck in the teeth, I mean. But anyway, okay, guys, it was. Thank you so much.
Please
And it
come
was-
back. You are so much fun to chat with.
It was an honor, and I send love to all of your listeners and your viewers today. God bless you guys.
Thank you so
thank
much.
you so
Take
much.
care.
Bye-bye
Take
now.
care, Diane.
Bye bye.
Bye.